Welcome to your review on trundle wheels. We used trundle wheels quite a while ago. Basic idea is it's a circle, and all we're going to use is the circumference to measure a distance. Okay, if you see this circle here, if I were to measure the distance, get the right color here, if I were to measure the distance around this, and then as if it was a string, take it and stretch it out, that's how I use it to measure distance. An official trundle wheel is typically made out of plastic, and it's got a little rolly handle, and it'll count number of rotations for you. The ones we made out of bicycle tires, and we had to count ourselves. There was no magical little counter for us. So when I'm solving problems using trundle wheels, the very first thing I'm going to need to do is figure out circumference. Now, how we figure this out is actually not too difficult. We have a nice easy formula. There's two versions of it. First one says circumference is pi times diameter. Pi, as we all know, is 3.14, and diameter will be different based on whatever the problem happens to be. The other version is that circumference is equal to 2 times pi times your radius, because radius is half a diameter, right? So 2 times r is going to give us the diameter. Okay. So for instance, let's say I have a radius of 4 inches. What's the circumference of this circle? All I do is kind of plug it in. Circumference is going to be 2 times 3.14 times 4 in this case. And you can try that on your calculator. That's something I don't expect you to do by hand. And you should get 25.12 inches. So if this was a circle, in real life, if I held this in my hand, all the way around would be 25.12 inches. Okay? If we're given diameter, let's say I have a circle where diameter equals 2.1 feet, and I want to know what's the circumference. It's actually rather easy. Again, all we have to do is plug it into our formula. Circumference is equal to pi times diameter, which is 3.14 times 2.1. Again, this is not something I expect you to do by hand. You're welcome to do it in a calculator. You can do it by hand if you really want to. That's fine by me. You should get 6.594 feet. Yes, you are welcome to round this to 6.6 feet. I prefer you don't round up to the nearest whole number. That cuts off actually quite a bit. Decimals actually mean they really do hold quite a lot of weight, so we don't want to cut them all off. So finding circumference really isn't too difficult. Now, let's deal with an entire trundle wheel problem here. Alright, Sally has a trundle wheel with a radius of 4 inches. She split the wheel into 6 equal parts. She then measured the hallway in 3 full rotations and 2 pieces. Okay, the idea with pieces is this. Let's go back to this first circle we had here. When I would go to measure this, if I were to take this circle and roll it along on the ground, it's hard to get, whatever I'm measuring, it may not be a full rotation. It may not be one full time around. So what typically we do is we will split this into pieces. So maybe if I split it into 4 equal pieces, it's going to make it much easier for me to estimate. So when I roll this around, maybe it goes around 1 full time, and then maybe it hits my first piece of tape, which would be 1/4. So it makes it much easier to estimate. So back to our problem. Sally has her trundle wheel. She knows the radius is 4 inches, pretty small one. To help her estimate, she split the wheel into 6 parts. So she taped off, 6 equal pieces. Then she measured her hallway, and it took her 3 full rotations and 2 pieces. Okay, there's actually 3 different methods of solving this, and I'm going to go through each of the 3. And you are welcome to pick whichever are the ones you want. Some people prefer fractions, some prefer decimals, some like the two-step way that don't have any fractions or decimals at all. And it's up to you. You use what you want to use. But the first thing that you have to do, it doesn't matter what method you use, very first thing you have to do is find your circumference. Okay, so I'm going to look at this problem, and my radius is 4 inches. So 2 times 3.14 times 4. I feel like I did this one in the example problem. Have some creativity issues this morning, but that's okay. Yeah, this gives us 25.12 inches. So our circumference is 25.12 inches, and she's broken this thing into 6 pieces. And it's taken her 3 full rotations and 2 pieces.